Well, Josh Alexander is a 16-year-old student at St. Joseph's Catholic High School in Canada, and he was recently suspended for expressing his religious and moral objections to the school's transgender bathroom policy. St. Joseph's Catholic High School in Renfrew, Ontario, allows males identifying as transgender girls to use bathrooms designated for females. And Alexander, who is Baptist, explained that after he began attending Catholic church, he was quickly informed by female students that male students were using the female washrooms. And he said, "This was an issue that came up in class debate, and I used that platform to share my opinions, as every other student had the opportunity to do." And I quoted some scripture. I said, "There is only two genders." And apparently, because there are transgender students in the class, this was considered bullying. Now, Alexander also voiced his concerns with the transgender bathroom policy with the school administration, but was ignored. And so, along with other concerned students, they organised a school protest, but 2 days before the scheduled event, he was suddenly suspended. Let's just have a watch of the news coverage clip from CBN of Alexander.
Josh Alexander shared his thoughts about transgender ideology at St. Joseph's Catholic High School in Renfrew, Ontario. Officials suspended him from class for the rest of the school year, and when he showed up to class for the second semester, he was promptly arrested by 2 police officers. Well, here to share what happened is Josh Alexander. Josh, it's good to talk with you. So what happened in class? What did you say that got you in trouble?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. So the whole issue started back in October, I suppose. I had moved to the Catholic board, and female students in the school informed me that male students were using the female washrooms, and they were concerned by this. So I decided to talk about that. I voiced my beliefs, and I expressed concern to the principal. A female student also expressed concern to the principal, and we were both ignored. So at that point, I decided to organize a protest outside to shed some light on what was going on behind closed doors. And they ended up suspending me indefinitely 2 days before the actual protest. They gave me an exclusion order. This exclusion order was completely unlawful and discriminatory, and so I decided to show up to school regardless of the exclusion order. And at that point, they hit me with a trespassing notice and another suspension. I waited all of that out until the end of the semester, lost 4 of my credits, and by the beginning of the next semester, with my lawyer, I informed them that I would return to school and continue to adhere to my religious beliefs. Not long into that time, I was brought to the office. The principal blocked the exit, and 2 police officers ended up entering the building. And when they told me to leave, I explained to them the situation, how I was only in that situation because of my beliefs, and that I exercised my fundamental freedoms, and that I wasn't going to leave on a request. So they ended up arresting me, and they charged me with trespassing.
Were you hateful or disrespectful? What tone did you take when you said what you did?
No, I wasn't disrespectful at all. I voiced my beliefs, my sincere beliefs, and I never directed at a specific trans student that was doing anything. I don't condone their behavior, but I also sympathize with them because they're a victim of our society and our education system, and the terrible parents that have encouraged and pushed that on their children. I was called a racist, a sexist, a bigot by staff and students were involved in this stuff. And yeah, I just continued to voice my beliefs, and I had ended up getting me arrested. There was conditions.
Yeah, fascinating. I mean, this is in a faith-based school. The Director of Education at the Catholic District School Board said, "Bullying behaviour that creates an unsafe space for our students is not tolerated. A trans person should not be required to use a separate washroom or change room because others express discomfort or transphobic attitudes, such as trans women are a threat to other women." Well, that's not what Josh was saying. He was concerned for the privacy and safety of the girls, and even the girls themselves were concerned as well. But look, this is not the first time. There's this example of Patricia Januzzi, who was at a Catholic school and was suspended because on her own Facebook page, she talked about what the church actually says about marriage. It's quite incredible. And then there's this example, the Reverend Dr. Bernard Randall. Now, he's a chaplain. He was appointed in 2015 to provide pastoral care, share the Christian faith, and lead services in the school chapel. And there was a group, a little bit like Rainbow Youth, that turned up that were doing some sessions. Here's an example of what this group is like. You'll quickly get an idea.
Hi, I'm Ellie Barnes, and I am CEO of Educate and Celebrate, and we are a charity that transforms schools and organisations into LGBT-friendly places. So predominantly, we are training teachers because we want our teachers to be really, really confident in the language of gender identity and sexual orientation. So they are speaking the same language as our young people. The concept of Educate and Celebrate is to treat everyone equally and fairly. And really the bottom line is to completely smash heteronormativity. That's what we want to do.
Yes, smash heteronormativity. And so Bernard Randall, he was preparing his sermons, and have a listen to his little commentary. He was asked to do a sermon on this specific issue.
I would ask pupils to suggest ideas. One of the pupils said to me, "Sir, do you have any slots left in your topics?" And I said, "Yes, I have got one." He said, "Can you talk about how come we're told we have to accept these LGBT ideas in a Christian school?" So on that basis, and the fact that, I'd heard other people expressing these concerns and doubts and confusions, I said, yes, this is an important topic for the chaplain as someone who's supposed to guide people through the maze of moral and ethical life. That's a proper topic for me to talk about. So that's what I did.
Yeah, that's what he did. And as a result, he was flagged as a terrorist to the anti-terrorism unit, and he was also referred to the equivalent of Oranga Tamariki in the UK. It's incredible. It's concerning when faith-based schools don't stand by their founding document, the DNA of their school. When they don't stand for biblical authority, then they fall for anything. And sometimes it takes a student, a 16-year-old like Josh, to call them out.